Hello children, welcome you all to this class. We are back here for the first language English, 9th standard, 3rd lesson from your textbook. Are you all ready? Yes children. Children, before we could go to the lesson, I want you all to have a notebook. Exactly, a notebook, a pencil or a pen, and most important, I want you to open your textbook. Okay, first language English textbook. Have it with you. Shall we start? Yes children, here we go. Children, and as you are all aware, the 3rd lesson for today is the collectors. Hey, what is this? Have you seen this? No? Yes, they call this flying objects. Have you come across this? Yes, exactly. I hear someone prompting, Miss, we have seen it on TV. Right. Yes, children. And who's this? Let's see who's this. You call them? Exactly there. Aliens. You call them as aliens. Children, before we could go to the lesson, I want you to reflect on this. Yes? Yes. Look at the question there. This is how you are all seated, right? Exactly. And children, you see, now I want you to think and answer, which step have you reached today? It's time for you to think and act now. Will you do it? Yes, children. And today's lesson is the collectors. You find a few characters and here it goes. Look at the cast. You have a few characters there. Pete, Carol, yes, and here Tracy, Glenn, Wayne, Don, Mr. Hunt, this is Miss Swan, and here this is Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Brown, and Mr. Brown. Yes, familiar with the characters? This should be easy for us to go through the lesson, is it not? Yes, children. If your textbook is open, shall we start? Listen to this. I told you earlier this is first language English and this is how the textbook is it not? See the front cover and you have opened Unit 3, the prose space. And what is the prose space there? The collectors on page 43. Shall we listen? Start.
Lonely countryside. The children are out for an adventure walk with teachers. It is raining hard. Isn't there somewhere we can shelter?
Not until we get to the village.
How far is that?
Nearly 3 miles.
3 miles?
I'm soaked. The children are getting very wet.
I can't help that. We'll just have to press on.
Can't we shelter over there, sir?
Where?
There, in that house.
That's not a house, surely. Hard to see in all the rain.
Of course it is. Try wiping your glasses.
You're right. Lonely place to choose for a house. It certainly wasn't there when I was here last summer for a walk.
Funny looking place. Are we just going to stand here in the downpour, gaping at it?
Yes, can we go up there and ask for shelter, sir?
We can't take all you crowd into a private house. You're dripping wet.
There's probably a shed or garage. We could shelter there. We can at least ask.
Yes, sir, why not?
I'm freezing.
Oh, all right.
Inside the kitchen of the house, Mrs. Brown is standing with all the children and teachers. Mr. Brown comes in through the outer door. hung up all the wet clothing in the porch.
I don't know why I'm still holding this walking stick.
Give it to me. I'll put it outside with the other things.
It's all right. I'll hang it on the back of this chair. Now that we've introduced ourselves, why don't you children sit down?
And the grown-ups can come through into the sitting room.
You children will be all right here, won't you? There isn't room enough there for everyone.
Yes, thanks.
Oh yes.
We'll be fine.
Thank you very much for taking us in like this. Our pleasure.
There's a fresh pot of tea made in the other room. Would you like a cup?
I did love one. So would I.
Would you like to come through then?
Mr. and Mrs. Brown and the three teachers go out. The children are silent for a moment or two, looking round.
You can't hear any sound of the wind in here.
No, it's terribly quiet. Weird.
I can just hear their voices in the sitting room.
It's cold in here too.
Maybe we feel cold because we are tired from all that walking.
And we did get wet.
No, not just that. It is cold.
And empty. This kitchen reminds me of a hospital. Where do they wash up?
It in the sink.
Or the washing up mission? There's nothing like that. They're standing about either. No plates, no pots and pans. Things like that.
They'll put away in cupboards.
Wayne opens a cupboard near the back door.
This one is quite empty. Don't go poking about, Wayne.
Pete opens the fridge.
There's nothing at all in the fridge. And the light's not on. It's not even working. Leave the things alone, you two. It's cheeky to snoop. Besides, they might come in and catch you. I thought there was something a bit strange about Mr. and Mrs. Brown. Funny, you should say that. So did I.
Perhaps they're crooks. This is their hideout.
Then hardly have let us in if they were crooks, would they?
No, that's silly.
Maybe we ought to have gone on walking to the village.
We'd have got drenched.
Mrs. Brown comes back into the room.
All right here. Good.
She notices the partly open cupboard door. Oh, were you looking for something in that cupboard?
It was Wayne. He was being noisy.
I see.
She closes the door, looking at Wayne.
I didn't mean any harm. We just wondered where you put your plates and things.
I'd rather you didn't touch anything. We've just moved in and haven't had time to sort things out. That's why this place looks rather deserted.
We only wondered.
Yes? Well, would you all like a drink?
I would.
Me too.
Will orange juice be all right?
Yes, please. Fine, thanks.
The others nod.
Good. And remember, please leave these cupboards alone.
We will.
Don't worry, Mrs. Brown.
She looks at the closed doors of a larger cupboard on the opposite wall. Do remember that. I'll go and get those drinks. She goes out.
Did you see her hand?
No, what?
When she closed that cupboard door, I looked. She has 7 fingers on both hands. Ugh, horrid. I was watching her eyes.
Yes, as far as I could see. They were all one color. They didn't have any black sort of centers. Go on, she could be something weird like a vampire.
Oh, shut up.
Yes, shut up. You're making all this up to scare us.
No, we're not. I don't want to stay here.
I'll tell you something. That rain has changed to thick fog outside. I have been watching it. Yes, you can see anything out of that window.
No, I hope it doesn't mean we're all gonna have to stay here all night. Stay here all night? Not me.
I don't fancy that either. Let's go. We can just slide off.
I'll go and tell Mr. Hunt and the others how we feel.
He goes out.
It is all bit mysterious. I wonder what is in that other cupboard. Leave it alone.
If she catches you, she'll be mad.
She won't catch me.
He opens the cupboard door. Behind it are dials, digital readouts, colored lights, and a mass of other electronic equipment.
What on earth is all that doing there? Is it some kind of computer?
Those things, are they figure or words?
Some kind of foreign language.
Look at those lights.
It's real space age stuff. What could it be for? Spying. You think so?
Close the door. Someone's coming.
They close the door, but it doesn't quite shut. Pete comes back in.
I think we need help. What did Mr. Hunt say? Nothing. He couldn't.
Couldn't?
I went quietly. I was a bit scared. The door of the other room was partly open. I saw Mr. Hunt first, sitting there, not moving, staring at nothing.
You mean he was thinking about something? He was tired.
No, I don't know. He was drugged. Miss Van and Mrs. Jones are the same. I crept a bit closer. Then I could see them too. They were sitting there, blank, as if they'd been turned into a stone. And Mr. and Mrs. Brown? They were looking at them and, I don't know, talking. What were they saying? No idea. They weren't really talking. It sounded they were just sort of hissing and clicking at each other. I want to get out of here.
I'm getting out right now.
He goes to the back door and tries to open it. It is locked. There's no key.
Let me try. No, it just won't open. How about the window?
Wayne tries the window.
No chance, it won't move.
Smash the glass. We got to get out. Here, try Mr. Hunt's walking stick. Use that, Wayne.
Wayne tries to break the glass with a stick.
It won't break.
He hits the glass again. It just bounces off.
Let me try.
He takes the walking stick and uses it. It is no use. That glass is like steel.
Come on. We'll see if there's a way out through the friend.
What next?
Did you listen to it? Enjoyed? But it stopped in between, right? Yes. We could not find out if the children could go out to reach the teachers. And what next? It is time for you to, yes, learn some new words under glossary. Yes, children. And here are a few new words for you. And look at this. What did we term them as? Fine, aliens. The ones who come from another world. Right. And here, I want you all to watch a very short trailer.
Louis không giống những đứa trẻ khác. Giờ thì cậu bé sắp gặp một số người bạn chẳng giống ai.
Bích cửa về quê ngoại rồi. Họ có thật. Chúng tôi sẽ xóa sổ cậu. Tôi xin hàng. Tụi mình có biết xóa sổ gì đâu. Thằng nhóc đó cũng đâu có biết.
Bọn tôi đang cố mua tấm thảm nấp bì.
Gì chứ?
Cái tấm thảm massage nấp bì đó.
Đây là cơ hội cuối cùng của bạn. Chỉ còn 13 tấm thảm nấp bi.
13 thôi hả?
Còn 12.
Trong một nhiệm vụ táo bạo, năng lực phi thường của họ đem đến những vấn đề lạ thường.
Thích như vậy nè, phải không?
Phê như cuộc tê tê.
Chuyện gì đang diễn ra vậy?
Bình tĩnh nào có cứng.
Yes. Come back. Enjoyed? Yes, children. And another word for you is porch. It means portico. Right, children? And look at the sentence here. The wet clothes were let to dry in the porch. And look at the picture. Look at the next word. Weird. What does weird mean? Yes, weird means strange, unusual. Fine. And look at the sentence here. The man started acting weird after checking his weight. And look at the next one. Vampire. What is vampire? Look at the image. Yes. Where have you come across this? You have come across this in TVs, in stories. Fine. Also in storybooks. Have you found this? What are vampires? Yes. It's an unusual form. Okay. And this is how you find them. Maybe a different picture as well. But they are called as vampires. Fine. Vikram and Betal. Very good. Someone prompting there. And the next one. Snoop. What does Snoop mean? Yes, poking around. And look at the sentence here. Rani started snooping about a friend's room when her friend was away. Yes, children. Go to the next one. Crook. What does crook mean? A dishonest person or a criminal. Okay. You have come across this word in the lesson, right? Yes. And children, here's a sentence for you. The man is a crook. He is not to be trusted. And children, did you understand the meaning? Very good. A round of applause for you all. Yes, children. And we have read the lesson, we have understood the lesson, and now I want to check, okay, how far did you understand? So, shall we recall again? Yes, children, let us recall what we have heard. Fine, if you have understood the story, you will give me the summary of the play, summary of the lesson. I will help you out. Here are a few sentences for you. Yes, children, and here it goes. What is that? The Collectors is a one-act play. What is it exactly talking about? It is about the encounter of a group of teachers and children where they are on an adventure walk. Is it not? And where are they going? Yes, it was a lonely countryside. And they come across two aliens. The aliens, how did they look like? They had taken the form of humans. Okay? And that is why these children or the teachers, they did not doubt that they were aliens. Why? Because they were in the form of humans. Is it not? And the spaceship in which they had come, fine, they mistook it to be a house because it was in the form of a house. As it was raining heavily, okay, and Mr. Hunt, as I told you earlier, he refuses to take shelter in the house, take refuge in the house. Why? Yes, because last summer when he was there, he had not found this house. Is it not? And Mrs. Jones, what does she say? Yes, it's a funny looking house. Okay, it's a funny looking house. And that is why Mr. Hunt says, yes, it doesn't look like a house. I have not seen it last summer. Fine. And children, but Mr. Hunt had to take the call of the children. Why? Because they were drenched in the rain and they wanted to take shelter so that they feel some warmth. Fine. And next, what happens? They come across Mr. and Mrs. Brown. They were the inmates of the house. Is it not? And how were they welcomed? It was a warm welcome. Mr. and Mrs. Brown welcomed them very warmly. Okay? And these aliens, who are they? Mr. and Mrs. Brown. They introduced themselves. They also offered them a cup of tea. You are feeling cold. Do you want a cup of hot tea? That is what they asked. And as there was no enough place there, so Mrs. Brown says, some of you, in the sense the teachers, where do they sit? In the sitting room or the living room. You can sit there, the teachers. The children can stay back in the kitchen. What seemed unnatural in the house? This house seemed to be unusual. Why is it? The kitchen was empty. There are no pans, no plates, no pots in the kitchen. And next, children, the cupboards and the fridge were also empty. What about Mrs. Brown? Mrs. Brown looked to be unnatural. Why? Why did she seem to be unnatural? And listen to the answer. Good. She looked very odd. And what was odd in her, children? Exactly. She had 7 fingers in each hand. And do you know how was her eyes? Yes, it was of one color. The black spot was not there. It all looked as one single white color. Okay? And the Browns, they spoke a foreign language. Right? And children, I want you to answer the next question. What did the children find in the larger cupboard? Look, what was there in the larger cupboard? They could find electronic equipment. Is it not? As they opened the door of the larger cupboard, what did they find? They found electronic equipment, right? And what was there inside? There were dials, digital readouts, colored lights, okay. And one of the child there, he happens to ask if they were computers. Yes. And lastly, with all these unusual things and the unusual humans there, the children thought of escaping. Is it not? Why did they think of escaping? And here is the answer. Are you listening out? Yes, they were panicked by the unusual things they found. Okay, everything is unusual there. They had come to take shelter due to the rains, but once they come inside, they see everything unusual. So they were panicked, they were scared, they were frightened. And as I told you earlier, the teachers who were seated in the living room, they were not moving at all. They were staring blank as though they were drugged. He seemed to be as though he was drugged. And Miss Swan and Mrs. Jones, what did they do? They were also the same. Even they did not react. And what did he do, it seems? Look at what he says. I crept a bit closer. Okay, the door was a little open and he is creeping a bit closer to find out what were the teachers doing. Now, after seeing all this, they wanted to escape. So, what were the attempts the children made to escape? Recalling? Yes, they tried to open the back door. Right, but did the door open? The door did not open. Fine, it was very hard. And later, there was a window pane. Is it not? So, what did they do? They started hinting the window pane with the walking stick. And you have done a great job. Very good. If you have understood the lesson, followed it clearly, I want you to take up assignments. And here are the assignments. Look at the questions below. Why was the group looking for a shelter? Next one, how far was the village from the place the group was living in? Why did Mr. Hunt hesitate to take shelter in the house? Name the occupants of the house. And look at the next one, children. Yes, you have to list the following. Things that were in the kitchen, unusual features of the Browns, language used by the Browns, different ways in which the children tried to get out of the house. Yes, children. Will you answer this? I want you all to answer the comprehension questions. Okay, you have got comprehension 1 and 2. Till the part we have completed, that is, they try to make an escape. Up till that, all questions that can be answered will be done by you. Will you do it? Yes, children. Work on that. Get ready. We will see what happens later in the lesson in my next class. See you all. Until then, stay safe, stay at home, but read the lesson, okay, and try to answer the questions. Thank you, children.